President, I rise today to speak for a brief moment on Senate Bill 87, the Educational Freedom Act. I do so with somewhat of a heavy heart. We spent 2.5 hours this morning talking about the rights of people to have the freedom to choose to buy beer during certain hours on Sunday. And if you'll note the voting record and the sponsorship of that bill, you'll find my name at the top of the list on the sponsorship and in voting yay for the bill. Because I do have this sense that perhaps freedom to buy beer on Sunday, not something I wish to exercise, but to others, may in fact be an important issue. What's unfortunate is that we had 32 of the members in this body support that bill. Yet as I stand here before you today asking for the freedom of parents to choose the best education for their children, I don't have 32 votes. And I wish that would sink in for a moment. We spent 2.5 hours talking about the freedom to purchase beer on Sundays, surely minimal in each of our lives, yet the idea of allowing a parent to choose the best educational setting for their child, we can't get 32 votes. When I go home, and we're often attacked as elected officials, we're often made fun of in the General Assembly, I do my very best to stand up for both Republicans and Democrats and say these are good people doing good things, doing the right thing, and no, you're wrong, we don't always do the wrong thing. I defend this body over and over again. I'm going to have a hard time defending this one. If you would put up on the screen the math and science slide. We've seen some pictures in the last few years up on this screen, and a lot of them have been fairly ugly. I'll submit to you this is the ugliest one I've seen. This, my friends, is an embarrassment. The most powerful nation on earth, and that's where we are. Oh, by the way, you'll notice some countries missing. The Far Eastern countries don't go to grade 12, but I can assure you, if they did, every last one of them would be ahead of us. We spend more money than any country on earth. Those are the results. We spend more money in this General Assembly on education than any other issue. And if we had our list up there of the states inside the United States, we'd be almost dead last. And yet, when I come to this well to offer a single small change, to give a few children an opportunity to escape these type results, we can't get it passed. We get phone calls from the very people that have put us in this position saying, don't change anything, we're doing just fine. I said in utter amazement, I have people come to me and say, well, listen, my school superintendent called me and look, my schools are great. Really? I'll say this, and this is my answer to every one of the school superintendents that makes that phone call. If your schools are so great, you've got nothing to fear because no one will leave. Educational freedom is about children. It's not about schools. It's not about systems. And the reason we're there, and the reason we're 46th, 47th, 48th, whatever you want to say, is because too many adults fight each other about education and forget about the kids. When we figure out that education is about children, we'll change those numbers. I want to use a statement made by the minority leader from the 26th. He said it from this well time and time again. When this state gets serious about the kids in both Bankhead and Buckhead, we'll improve education. I've had so many people come to me and say, well, kids have choices. They have choices. Go tell the mother who lives on Bankhead Highway she's got a choice. Oh, yeah, the parents that live in Buckhead, they got all sorts of choices. Go tell the parent that lives on Bankhead Highway she's got a choice. Go tell the parent, explain to the parent in Clayton County who may have to work 2 to 3 jobs to pay the mortgage on a house that, because the real estate market is upside down now, she can't sell and go to somewhere else. Explain her choice to her. What choice does she have? And yet, instead of giving those children a chance, we defend the status quo. Well, the status quo in education stinks. And we are failing our children. You don't have to take my word for it. There it is. The ugliest thing you'll see on the board today. The fundamental question behind Senate Bill 87 is so very simple. It can be answered in 2 seconds, and it doesn't take a lot of thought. This one is as easy as you're going to get today. The fundamental question is more choice in education better for children? That's it. Is more choice in education better for children? Well, let's look at that for a brief moment. Does choice in education work? I'll give you 3 programs and tell me if they've worked. Georgia Pre-K, the Hope Scholarship, and the GI Bill. We sat here and properly debated and discussed day after day the Hope Scholarship, passed a very good bill. Everybody in this room agreed that we had to save it. It's one of the best programs out there. You know what it is? It is a program of choice. You take that Hope Scholarship and you choose the school that's best for you. And what has been the result? It has been phenomenal. If you put up the next slide, you'll also find this on your desk. A few years ago, the former senator from the 1st came to this well and argued about the need for a special needs scholarship. All of the arguments we're hearing in opposition to Senate Bill 87 were made. You could replay that videotape and it would be the exact same arguments. And the senator from the 1st made the right decision, and he made some proper comments and said, well, let's just start with this group. Let's start with the special needs kids and see what happens. Well, we've done that. And here are the results. They interviewed the special needs kids that are in this program, and every single statistic you can see right in front of you. Very satisfied or satisfied with your child's academic progress. Their former school, 16%. Their current school, 95%. Very satisfied or satisfied with the individual attention given to your child. Former school, 23%. Current school, 96%. It goes on and on and on. Well, how much does this cost? Because everybody's, well, in the education bureaucracy, the statement is often made, well, if you'll just give us more money, we'll get better results. Surely no one actually believes that. But that's the statement that's made time and again. Well, the fact of the matter is, these results right here were done by saving $3,100 per student per year. The average special needs scholarship in the state of Georgia is right at $6,300. The average total expenditure on the average student in Georgia, not special needs student, is over $9,000, almost $9,400. So does it work? Undeniably. Does it save money? Over $3,000 per student. So here we have a program that saves money and gives us better results, but we don't have the votes. I'm often told, well, you can't trust this system because some of these schools don't have accountability. Let me tell you a story about accountability. I'll be brief. Because their view of accountability is, well, does that teacher have a piece of paper on the wall that says they're certified? Because if they don't, there's no accountability. When I was in the 11th grade in a public high school here in the state of Georgia, my teacher was getting his PhD from Georgia Tech, and he was getting it in computer science, and he was teaching us computers, and that was really the first year computers had been introduced into the public schools. His name was Mr. Diffendorfer. Mr. Diffendorfer, after 1 year of doing a fantastic job of teaching us computers, was told his services were no longer needed. Not because the results weren't great, because I learned more about computers in that 1 year than I have since. His services were no longer needed because he didn't have that certificate. He didn't have time to go get his teaching certificate because he was getting his PhD in computer science. So after he was told his services were no longer needed at my public school, the next year, my senior year in high school, Mr. Hughes was the teacher for computer science. He was the last guy they could have chose because Mr. Hughes was also the wrestling coach and had never literally turned on a computer in his life. But he had his certificate. He met the threshold. We taught more to him about computers than he ever taught to us. But we lost an entire year, but we had we had a teacher with a certificate. What matters is our kids learning. Our kids learning. The statistics show that yes, This program is working. It's working. Kids are learning. 9 of 10 of these special needs children are meeting yearly progress. I've probably taken more time than I need to, but I'll close with this. I don't like to walk away from this well knowing that I don't have the votes on any bill. But it's not me who's losing today. Make no mistake about it. I'm going to go home. I'm going to be just fine. I'm going to see my 4 kids. They're doing just great. I don't lose at all. The people that are losing in this state are the children. And they're losing because we're fighting the other adults instead of worrying about them first and giving them the options that they deserve. If I stood here today and I put up on the rankings that the United States was in the top 5 in the world and that the state of Georgia was in the top 5, you wouldn't hear me up here today. But folks, we're not even close. We're not even close. So when your local school superintendent calls you and tells you to stand against these evil school choice bills, my only response would be, look, if you're doing a great job, you've got nothing to worry about. Absolutely nothing to worry about. But if we answer the single most important question when it comes to education, and that is more choice in education better for children or not? If we're honest with ourselves, we'll say yes. Mr. President, I'm going to yield the well. I'm going to go back to my desk. And sadly, I'm going to ask for this bill to be tabled, and hopefully there'll come a day where we value education enough to put kids first.